Yo, Jonathan here. This year has been kind of wild. I got a chance to hang out with Bill Gates, built a brand new studio, surprised Tim Henson of Polyphia, sold my maxed out MacBook Pro for a $1,299 Mac Mini, MKBHD just sent over a pair of shoes, and I have not talked about any of it. So it's been a while, and I initially had a regularly scheduled tech video that was supposed to go live today, but it's been about 5 months since I've posted anything to this channel. So I A, just wanted to say what's up, and B, wanted to talk about the future of this channel because things are definitely changing. So videos on this channel over the last few years have been sparse, and a lot of that is a lot of work behind the scenes, going down different paths and avenues, whether it be music or video production, and a lot of that was just getting to the place where I could be consistent and do tech videos at the highest level possible again. A lot of you have witnessed the music journey over the past few years and have been incredibly supportive. I cannot thank you enough for that. But I also realize a lot of you came here for tech, and I respect that. The love of tech never went away. It was just incredibly hard to do everything at once. And I felt crazy during the process, questioning, is this worth it? Hearing the outside voices of, yo, what is this guy doing? Why is he neglecting the tech side of things? And you start to believe that. But this year finally feels like it was the turning point to where I could do both things at a high level, both tech and music together, but also separate. So change number one, new channel. I've had the Jonathan and Friends channel for a couple of years now, but haven't been consistent or really pushed it up until now. It's primarily been where I've documented the music journey, but after debating and contemplating starting a separate tech channel from here, just something where I could blend everything, the tech, the music, I've realized that's me in its purest form. And on top of that, throughout the years, all of my favorite videos here as well have been with friends. So if you like the idea of music, tech, and even more tech than I've done so far, definitely subscribe there. It will be heavy on the Apple side of things because that's ultimately me, but I'm really excited to create there. Speaking of the music side of things, just released my first song of 2023, which is called Bubble Wrap with my good friends Danny and Colton, aka Nico. We are extremely proud of this one, so if you have just under 3 minutes out of your day to spare, give it a listen, give it a stream, it would mean the world. Now, before I continue, I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Caseku, and really a deep thank you to them because I partnered with them a little over a month ago. By now, I was supposed to upload a couple video sponsorships, but just getting things to this point took longer than I would have hoped. So having their support in the meantime, their understanding really meant the world. I've been using their Magic Stand case for the entire time now. It's extremely well built, great grip. The actual stand portion of it is extremely rugged. It's not gonna fall apart after a week or two. They have a handful of different collections and cases and colors, all of which are extremely affordable. I'll drop a link to that down below, as well as a link to an iPhone 14 Pro giveaway with this exact case that I'll have the details over on Twitter. And again, thank you to Caseku for supporting creators. The next huge change is a brand new studio. This is the classic space that I've been in for the better part of almost a decade now, which is kind of wild. It's seen different facelifts and different iterations. Probably the biggest was last year where we built an entire Dolby Atmos setup in here. Since then though, that has been taken down and is completely gone. When we built that space last year, there was no way that I thought it would be gone or different by now, but earlier this year, things changed rapidly. If you couldn't tell, I got really obsessed with Dolby Atmos to the point where we started trying to build mobile rigs just so we can bring it out and have people experience it everywhere. It first started with a version that we took down to a coffee shop nearby. We then perfected it with a Genelec system and took it to an Airbnb, and then ultimately ended up taking it to Apogee Studios. Apogee is an audio company who, in my opinion, make the best interfaces and converters in the world. And when we brought our setup over there, they were so impressed that they asked if we would be down to bring that setup back for trade shows and different events. And I had the dumb idea to throw out the question, well, what if we burn down our old setup and build a new one? That dumb idea then turned into this. It was about a 40-day process from start to finish, just getting in there with the empty blank space, designing it, getting the parts, getting it functional. And I think there was partly a rush just because A, we didn't have an Atmos space anymore to work out of, but also parallel to that, there was an upcoming project with Tim Henson of Polyphia. Apogee had a brand new guitar interface that was coming out where they partnered with Tim to shoot a commercial. I was helping shoot that commercial, but I didn't want to tell Tim about that until he got there. The reason I didn't want to tell him is because I actually chatted with him last year on Instagram. We talked about studios and monitors, and he sent me stems to Playing God. So I actually had a secret Dolby Atmos mix that I did for him that he hadn't heard yet. So if you want to see a video and a breakdown of the new space, let me know by dropping a like down below. But yeah, part of what made that such a chaotic experience is the day of the shoot with Tim, there wasn't a single speaker, cable connected, computer, nothing was set up. So we had to build the entire thing in about 4 or 5 hours. Huge shout out to Genelec and Apogee for making the incredible speakers and interface that powers everything. I'm really proud of this space, not only sonically, but aesthetically as well. If you're a fan of Polyphia or Tim Henson and you've caught his studio tour, he's rocking some white Jennies in there. So that was important to me to get the space to match his aesthetic. So once we shot the commercial, there would be some familiarity. That Tim Henson project and commercial is probably the most I've ever thrown myself into something physically, emotionally, mentally. There were way too many 4-hour nights of sleep that I'm honestly still recovering from to this day. But the end result is something that I am incredibly proud of. So if you have a moment, if you want to check that out, it's over on Tim's channel, as well as getting the chance to surprise him with an Atmos mix of Playing God, which is equally surprising and fun and amazing. With that, I also want to talk a little bit more about Apogee because that's a really full circle story for me. They were actually the first nice interface that I bought way back in the day, the Apogee Ensemble. They were one of the first companies to ever send us something to review, and I hadn't really worked with or talked to them much over the past 8 or so years until I started getting back into the music side of things, where I discovered the Symphony desktop. That became hands down my favorite interface that I've ever used, just in terms of how it sounded, how it worked, and that really kind of pushed me back towards Apogee, where I started to work with them essentially just because, for free, because I just wanted to see him win. That finally developed into something more formal over the past couple months, which I'm really excited for. So I just want to throw it out there where if you see anything Apogee and myself, don't look at it as this one-off influencer partnership type thing. I truly care about the company, the people there, the products. I want to see them win. And believe me, there are things with some of the products that aren't perfect that I want to help push and change and lead. So if you see something, again, with Apogee or myself, just know I'm treating that like it's my own. Aside from that, again, I'm really looking forward to getting back and making the more traditional tech videos here. So if there are things that you're excited for, things you want to see, drop some comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting. It is appreciated much more than you'll ever know. This is Jonathan, and I will catch you guys later.